Good evening, everybody. I hope you guys are doing well. I'm doing good. I was having a little technical issue, but I'm okay. All right. So, anyway, I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you guys are enjoying the spring. It is springing. The spring is springing. So, we've been back and forth between hot and cold, and now we are in the second winter. Hopefully, the last winter, maybe the third winter. Anyway, I'm here. I am excited to be here. I wanted to talk a little bit and ask you guys a critical question whether or not you are crackheads. Are you a crackhead? Are you a crackhead? Now, why do I ask this question? It's so important. Welcome, all you guys. When you do see this later on, you're more than welcome to share this. That's okay. You can share it. I want you to write down some information. I want you to do your own study also. And then I want you to decide and ask the real truth. Are you a crackhead? Do you struggle in this area? Are you challenged? So, a good evening again. It is Thursday evening. It is what, the 22nd? Y'all, the month is almost over. It is the 22nd of May. Isn't that unbelievable? Anyway, I'm going to get started right with an example. So here's a little example right here. You see this? This is a teaspoon. This is a teaspoon. It's very small. It's for small amounts and small eating. So I'm going to go ahead on. I'm going to get started with a video. And as you're watching this video, you can take down some notes and jot and think about it and see if you are on the crackhead spectrum. Okay? Okay. And I'll be back with some information. But I want you to watch this video and let me know in the comments what you think about it. If you actually have issues with it, if you need to be delivered from it. Hey, Miss Sandra, my friend, she popped up on YouTube. Thank you so much for popping in, my sweet sister. Talking about just asking people if they crackheads. That's all. That's it. We just need to be honest with ourselves. Now, I'm going to be talking about sugar and the addiction to sugar and the seriousness about what sugar is doing to our bodies. I myself am a recovering crackhead. I'm being delivered from sugar. And in the delivery process, we're only going to be on for a little while tonight. But anyway, we're going to get right into this video. And first step is admitting it. Ms. Sandra said the first step is admitting that you have an issue. So that'll be the first step. Admit that you got an issue with sugar, okay? I'm going to show this really short video. I'm going to go into some reading, and then we're going to go to the next episode of what we're going to be doing next time, okay? All right, so I'm going to show this video so you guys enjoy, and I'll be right back.
What's more addictive, cocaine or sugar? You'd think the sweet stuff found in cakes, breads, sodas, and chocolate would be easier to give up than a substance so dangerously addictive that it's illegal, right? Well, you might be surprised. In 2007, researchers at the University of Bordeaux conducted a study where they equipped rat cages with two levers. One lever gave the rats an intravenous hit of cocaine. The other gave them 20 seconds to drink sugar water. Before beginning the tests, rats were allowed to sample each lever twice to see how they liked it. Once the test began, 94% of the rats chose the sugar-sweetened water. Interestingly, rats still preferred the sweetened water even when the researchers gradually increased the cocaine dose. When comparing the brains of food addicts to cocaine addicts side by side, the similarities are undeniable. MRI scans of the brain's activity reveal a massive spike in dopamine upon initial craving, high levels of anticipation but low levels of satisfaction on consumption. Basically, food addicts want sugar more than they actually enjoy eating it. And here lies the problem. We enjoy high calorie foods and drugs because consuming them releases the same feel good chemicals in the brain like dopamine and endorphins. The problem, however, is that it takes more and more of the stimulus to get the same amount of pleasure, but your cravings actually increase. Craving makes sense from an evolutionary perspective. If we hunted down a delicious wild boar and feasted upon its succulent flesh, we would get pleasure from eating it. But if the cravings for that sweet, sweet boar meat never returned, we'd die of hunger. In our modern world, you're much more likely to have too much of something than too little. This caveman's brain told him to crave sugar for a good reason. Food was scarce in prehistoric times, and anything high in calories like sugar or fat was very rewarding to the caveman brain in a world where calories were harder to come across. But it doesn't make sense now. These days, sugar and refined carbohydrates, which are basically the same thing, are in everything, like bread, ready meals, pasta sauces, sodas, and of course candy. The food climate changed, but our brains didn't. We're designed to crave high-calorie foods, but the problem is they're everywhere. Can you imagine the problems if cocaine was this accessible? This constant exposure to high-calorie, high-sugar foods messes with our hormones. Unlike the caveman, whose eating schedule was one of feast or famine, we are allowed to constantly graze, which puts our hormones out of whack. We produce more insulin, which causes food to be stored in our fat cells. Furthermore, when we are constantly eating, we never give our body a chance to get in a fat-burning state, making us fat. So what can you do to cut down on sugar? The most important thing is to cut down on processed foods. Most processed foods contain high amounts of sugar, as it's the easiest and cheapest way to mass produce something that doesn't taste like cardboard. What counts as processed food? If it has a list of ingredients, it's processed. Real foods don't have ingredients, they are the ingredients. So try to eat like the caveman. If you need a snack, nuts are very healthy. And if you still can't kick the sweet tooth, then fruit should do the trick. But doesn't fruit contain sugar? Yes. But fruit has natural fiber which prevents the sugar from being metabolized too quickly and messing around with your hormones, which is why sugar is so unhealthy in the first place, not to mention the calories. Of course, if you're feeling really brave, you can go cold turkey. Cut out all sugars for a couple of weeks. You'll find that your cravings for the white stuff all but disappear, and you'll wonder how you could ever polish off a box of donuts in one sitting. This video was made in collaboration with Health Chronicle. They make fun, engaging animations about everyday useful health tips. Go check out their video about treadmill versus outdoor running, and be sure to subscribe.
All right, there you have it. I love the one part where he said that when you're getting into ultra processed foods, when there is a list of ingredients, then most likely it's processed or even ultra processed, meaning highly processed foods or sugar laden, chemical laden food that or items that are masquerading as food, like the candy and the chip. All of those things are pretending to be food. Now, one thing I do want to explain, that there's a difference between dense and non-dense, or a lack of nutrient density. So like he said about the sugar that's in fruits and vegetables, or especially fruits, they are combined with fiber. So if you combine sugar with fiber, it takes the body longer to break it down. And that's called a nutrient dense food. It's going to take your body longer to break it down, and it's not going to spike your blood sugar as quickly as plain white sugar. Like I said in the beginning, this is a teaspoon, and this is going to be very important as I continue to show you guys this information, why a teaspoon is so important. Okay, so Food that lacks nutrient density, like popcorn and potato chips and candy, that means there's no fiber in it, there's no protein in it, or very little protein or fiber in it. And because of that, it breaks down quicker in your blood system and it hits your body like a freight train. It's the cookies, it's the candies, it's those things that get right into your bloodstream really quickly. It spikes your blood sugar, it releases the dopamine, so you're feeling good on cloud nine and not even realizing the horrible effect that your kidneys and your pancreas is taking, having to produce so much insulin all at once. Okay, so like he said in the video, they gave the rats a choice. They gave them actual cocaine, which is what crack is made out of. See, you see the title? Are you a crackhead? They gave them actual cocaine, and then they gave them sugar water. And the more that they consumed, the more that they wanted, even though they increased the dosage of the cocaine. I've been studying this stuff for years because it's been my story for years. So let me go on to some other information. So this is going to show up in the form of a video, but I'm going to stop it. There was some technical issues earlier, but I was able to get it into a video, and I'm going to see if I can show you what it is that I think is important. Okay. So right here, I don't know if I can enlarge it anymore. Okay, very good, that works. So as you can see, let me see if I can move down at all. So as you can see here, so I'm going to use pop as an example because it's something that we all have enjoyed at one point or another. I'm not going to be talking so much about cakes and cookies, but you can just imagine. Maybe I need to start off with a label, if I can get to the label. Let me see. Okay, that's a little bit better. All right, I'm going to start with the label here. Okay, when you're reading your food labels, let me know if you still hear me, Miss Sandra, if I'm still going good with you. My mic look like it's still going okay. So one thing is going to be very key in your nutrition is learning how to read the labels and being really avid to read the labels. Now, guys who are having issues in their health already, whether they have different kinds of allergies and stuff, they're reading labels. Well, all of us need to be label conscious. When you see this, put in there, I must be label conscious. You must pay attention. You pay attention to your labels. Okay. So I'm taking Pop-Tarts here. It's something we see all of the time. Now, at the bottom, at the very bottom of the screen here, under right next to the Pop-Tart, right here in this little area, it's going to tell you that this information is based on a $2,000, I was going to say $2,000. No, on a 2,000 calorie diet. Basically, a 2,000 calorie diet, which everyone flows between there. Most of us who are in a calorie deficit that's looking to trim down a little bit, it's going to be less than that. But for the average person, you're going to consume around 2,000 calories a day. Okay. Now, I wish I had a pointer. Do I not have a pointer? Okay. Well, up in that top area, you see how many servings per container. Servings per container, you're going to see that there's going to be 12 servings per container. One serving is 2 of the pastry, so it's 2 of the Pop-Tarts. With the 2 Pop-Tarts, you're going to get 370 calories. 370 calories minus, well, not minus. So let's go here. So if you got 2,000 calories for the day and you're going to take away 370 calories. So you're only going to have 1,630 calories for the rest of the day to eat on average. Okay. So you have to kind of balance out and ask yourself, do I want to really use my 370 calories on two Pop Tarts that are going to spike my blood sugar, that's not going to be filling, that has no nutrient density, and I'm going to be hungry after I eat them? Because remember, there's no nutrient density. There's not enough fiber. There's not enough protein in the Pop Tarts, so it's going to spike your blood sugar really high. You're going to feel good for a little bit, and this could go the same with donuts and coffee and all of that too. And we'll get to more of that in this chat. But you're gonna waste, so to say, or use up 370 of your calories. Now, I want you to look down here at this carbohydrate area, if you can, or if you can enlarge that area. Okay. So also, now what you're gonna see is you're gonna see your sodium intake and you're gonna see your carbohydrate intake. That is 70 grams. 70 grams or 70 teaspoons. A gram is about a teaspoon, y'all. That's 70 of these things into the one serving. In two Pop Tarts, you're going to get 70 of these. And this Pop Tart serving is going to equal 25% of your total amount for the day. Now you're going to see that on average, listen to this while you're looking at that label. On average, well, no, not 70 of these. Okay, let me get that together. Let me correct that. So 50 grams is 12 of these. 88 grams of sugar is 22 teaspoons. Okay, so I'm correcting my information. So you're talking about maybe roundabout, let's see, I would say maybe 15 teaspoons of sugar in two Pop Tarts. That is a lot of sugar, and that's going to do a lot of damage to your body. And that's why the kids are bouncing all over the place. And not only that, you have the list. Look at the list of ingredients. So you have a lot of, the first thing is enriched flour. This isn't unbleached flour. This is bleached flour that's been enriched with all of these other chemicals and additives in order to make the Pop Tart. Of course, you look at the color. I'm really glad that we do have the Food and Drug Administration that's making radical changes to the food coloring. You got food color number 40, you got red number 5, you got blue number 1, you have the yellow. Now, this is interesting. This is what I want you to remember. The top of the list is the highest concentrate that is in the product. Okay, the top of the list is the highest concentrate. Okay, usually on average, an adult regular weighing person would only need to consume, or would only consume 12 teaspoons of sugar, 12 teaspoons or 50 grams of sugar, 12 teaspoons of these of sugar a day. Okay, most of us eat up to 22 teaspoons up and upward. So it's not just the 22 teaspoons of these, is more likely a whole lot more sugar a day that we consume. That's why we feel so crappy, because our organs are taking a beating with this sugar. And like I said, I'm not here to throw anybody under the bus or to convince you, but to give you some information and also to let you know, if I had time and I was thinking about it, I would have put my cookies up there that I would eat. I ate massive amounts of cookies all the time. All right. So if you can see this a little bit in the soft drinks, the stuff that we drink. Let me see if I can enlarge this a little bit. In the soft drinks, in a regular Coca-Cola bottle. So that looks to be about a 20-ounce bottle of regular Coke. You're going to get 15 and a half teaspoons of sugar. That's crazy. 15 and a half teaspoons of sugar on top of whatever other sugar that you're eating. Okay? 15 and a half of these. And then we go right down the list. So then like we got regular Sprite, 15 and a half. You got the energy drink. You're going to regular energy drink. None of this stuff is sugar free. You're going to get 15 teaspoons. And those are the calorie amounts also. So from a regular bottle of Coke, you're going to get 240 calories. And remember, we're still talking about eating on a basic 2,000 calorie diet. Now, for the most of us, we can consume easily upward to 5,000 or 6,000 calories. Next time I do a chat, I'm going to do it on salt. And we're going to start looking at the salt content in the basic stuff that we eat. So if you're taking a regular Coke, a piece of cake, and everything has added sugar in it, so you're going to get some amounts of sugar even from like spaghetti and pasta sauce, meatballs, salad dressing. Oh my goodness. When I started to really actually pay attention to the labels in salad dressing, it's really sickening. And it makes you want to get more conscious and wise about what you're putting in your body and wanting to make your own. You can make your own salad dressing. I found some wonderful caffeine-free, very, very low sugar drinks. Because, if you want to switch up your water, do lemon in water, or cucumbers in it, or whatever. Okay, so let's keep going. Here in a regular Minute Maid bottle, you get 17 teaspoons of sugar. Right up there in a Barq's root beer, 17 and a half. 270 calories, 240 calories of sugar, mainly, remember, it's hitting your bloodstream, it's spiking your blood sugar. And then, of course, we go over to the other side. Then I want to look at Sunkist really quick. Sunkist, you're going to get 20 and a half. Oh, this is just nuts. You're going to get 20 and a half teaspoons of sugar. This is a teaspoon. And you're going to scoop 20 of them and put it in the liquid on top of the food coloring, on top of the phosphorus. They put phosphorus in the pops, in the drinks, in order to protect your stomach from the constant beating of the acid that's in there, and also of the bubbly, of the seltzer water, or the bubbles. The bubbles will burn our stomach if they didn't put phosphorus in drink. Notice that the next time that you pick up a pop, flip the label over and take a look at it and see what it is that you're consuming. Even if you're consuming sugar-free items that are better for you, only in the terms of not eating regular refined sugar, it's still going to have some of the same effects in your body as regular white sugar. But I'm talking about regular white sugar tonight because it's in everything, and all carbohydrates translate to regular white sugar also. And I know this chat is going to be difficult or challenging for a lot of people to hear, because we're getting ready to get into the summertime. We're getting ready to get into the summertime. You're talking about ice cream and cookies and holidays and fun times, and your body taking a beating because of sugar and salt. Okay? I know it's tight, but baby, it's right. All right, let me see if I can advance a little bit. See where I am. We looked at the label. All right, so here's another visible representation of what it looks like. Here you have, it looks like to be, it's not quite a 2 liter of pop, but here you have like a 32, no, is it 32 ounce? I know they have the 20 ounce pop and then they have the 32 ounce. I believe that's what that is. That's a 32 ounce and that's a 20 ounce. And there is the visible representation of the sugar that you just get with regular pop or a soft drink, whatever you guys happen to call it where you are. All right, I'm going to advance it a little bit more. Okay, so this is just another slide, just asking you to pay attention to what's in your pop. So Sandra said that looks like a liter. It might have been a liter. And just think if it is definitely a liter, it's just some of what you drink. That has nothing to do with the rest of the stuff that you drink. One of the chats, I'm going to talk about caffeine in the serious dangers of consuming too much caffeine. So that might be a 2 liter. I think you might be right. A 2 liter. But just think of all of that sugar going into that 2 liter. And also that's a lot of sugar right there in the 20 ounce. I think I remember counting that there's like maybe 42 or 45 teaspoons or grams, no, teaspoons of sugar, because the little cubes are teaspoons. Okay. All right. Now, you had all that fun news. Okay. So sugar gives a drug-like effect. Okay. It says a review published in the British Journal of Sports Medicine has claimed that refined sugar has a similar effect on the brain as illegal drugs such as cocaine, or I call it crack. That's why I asked the question, are you a crackhead? It says in a study on rats, which that was in the video earlier, it has been found that there are significant similarities between eating sugar and drug-like effects such as binging, craving, tolerance, withdrawal, dependence, and reward. All of those things happen in sugar withdrawals when you're trying to detox from sugar. Okay, aversion signal. It says lead author of the review, James Donolio of St. Luke's Mid-America Heart Institute has said that unlike salt, there is no aversion signal. Okay, I get that. There's no aversion signal to sugar, a built-in safety mechanism that protects us from eating too much salt. This isn't present in sugar, so people can eat a lot of sugar, a lot of it, and still want more. Whereas once people have had enough salt, they don't want any more. That means that we don't have a stopping point when it comes to sugar. And I can testify. Absolutely. I did not have a stopping point when it came to sugar. I could continue to eat and eat and eat and gorge on sugar. Now, I would get a little sick or nauseous or whatever, but it never stopped me. It didn't stop me enough to say that I never wanted sugar again. But as a result, I had a lot of swelling. I had a lot of inflammation. Sugar makes menopausal symptoms much worse. Withdrawal symptoms. It says of the withdrawal symptoms, the author of the review claim are present when giving up sugar completely. Withdrawal symptoms from sugar come from the dopamine deficiency in the brain. It says this leads to the symptoms such as attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. Wow. So that means that some of the sugar withdrawals will give that same kind of effect, meaning that there can be a dopamine deficiency when you take the sugar away. It says, and it may even create similar states in the brain as found with people with depression. Now you have to ask yourself some different questions as far as when you're not eating sugar on a regular basis, how do you feel? Do you have withdrawal symptoms? Do you experience all of the symptoms that are akin to drug withdrawal? Tolerance, you want to binge, you have these symptoms, dependence. Some people even get angry or irritable. And it's very serious when it comes to the up and down of consuming too much sugar all at once, like you do when you have a big old cup of coffee, or like I said, the sugar, and I have a little coffee in my sugar. I mean, yeah. I would have a little coffee in my sugar because I liked my sugar super sweet. Dopamine deficiency can be temporarily alleviated by eating more sugar. The sugar can override our sense of control mechanism, or we call it our sugar fix. Okay. Now, this is different from diabetics that something's going on in their blood sugar and they need a hit of sugar because their sugar is too low. This is different. This is for the 99% of us that there's nothing wrong with us except we are sugar addicts. Okay. Dietary energy. According to Public Health in England, sugar intake in England is nearly 3 times the recommended limit. Remember, it is recommended that we only have 12 of these. Let me get my note that we only have 12 of these a day. But the majority of us are eating 22 or more teaspoons of sugar. Okay. I'm going to hold on to this and think about that. Next time you see a teaspoon, just remember this chat. This is what a teaspoon of sugar looks like. And you're consuming that. On average, sugar contributes to between 12 and 15% of our energy intake, whereas the Scientific Advisory Committee on Nutrition recommends that sugar should not exceed 5% of our total dietary energy. Okay? 3 times. What do you mean, Sandra? 3 times. 3 times as much sugar? Okay. So, eating too much sugar can lead, of course, we know, to weight gain, which then increases the risk of heart disease, type 2 diabetes. Yep, 3 times as much, 4 times as much. And when I can remember the amount of sugar that I would intake, it would make me sick. So you're talking about as a result of too much sugar intake, you're increasing stroke possibilities, certain cancers. Cancer cells need sugar to thrive and to grow, but also ulcers. It alters our moods and provides feelings of being rewarded and euphoria. Hence the comparison to illegal drugs. And I can remember that part because I would call it a food high. I would eat, I would eat so much, and I would get high, and then after the high you have the hangover. So I would get high off of eating too much sugar or eating too much food, period, and I would feel absolutely stuffed, and I would go into this state of euphoria. And I don't know, people don't talk about the euphoric state of food, or the euphoric state especially of sugar, refined carbs. It puts you in a euphoric state, and you actually kind of zone out completely. That's where the sleep comes in at. After you've eaten a heavy meal or a meal full of sugar, you want to go to sleep because it puts you to sleep. All right. So eating too much sugar definitely is compared to illegal drugs. Yep. That's right, Miss Sanders. She said, it's serious when it's compared to drugs. Sugar is compared to drugs. Sugar is compared to drugs, the reward system. However, there are opponents of this argument around sugar and addiction, with some other experts disputing the claim. In an article on Journal Clinical Nutrition in 2010 claim that there are no support from studies on humans that sugar is physically addictive or that addiction to sugar plays a role in eating disorder. And they have been proven wrong. Because you know what? All right, now I'm getting wound up. When you look at the shows like My 600-Pound Life, 2,000-Ton Sisters, these people, and yourself too, whenever you have a craving, you're never craving vegetables. You don't crave vegetables. Now, if anybody on here crave vegetables, please let me know. Because I've never craved carrots. I've never craved celery. There's something going on with my internet. I think it's catching up again on Facebook. I'm sorry, Facebook family. Just let me know if you've ever craved vegetables. When you are in need of a hit, you do not crave vegetables. You don't crave meat. You want something sweet. And I explained this before. I don't know if I explained it to you guys or what. Hold on a second. I don't know if I explained it to you guys or what. But you have two things, okay? Now, you crave sugar to soothe you. You crave sugar to soothe you because of the release of dopamine. When you want the feeling of being in control, you crave something crunchy. When you have the feelings of being out of control, you crave crunchy. Let me know over there, Facebook. It's looking awfully sketchy. On my screen anyway. Let me go to my phone. I'm going to say that again. No, there is an issue. There's an issue, Facebook. I'm sorry. It just started moving awfully slow. Are you okay, Miss Sandra, on YouTube? All right. So when you are upset, you crave sugar. That's why. And get this, manufacturers and big food makers, they know that. That's why in movies, they gear everything around. If a woman is upset, then she craves ice cream. She wants ice cream. This is bugging me big time. And I'm not sure why. It's skipping, but the audio is good. I don't know why. I'm just going to keep on going for the sake of getting the information out. I'm not quite sure why, if we're having internet issues or what. We might be. But I'm going to keep going just for the sake of getting the information out. I might have to just delete it. I'm sorry. Anyway, I'm sorry about this. It was going so well for a while. Maybe it'll pick back up and get going. Anyway, When you have the feeling of losing control, you want something crunchy. When you need to be soothed, you want something sweet. Sweet and soft, or hard and crunchy. Did you get that? Sweet and salt for soothing, hard and crunchy for control. Okay. All right. It says in another study of research, the effects of sugar on rats argued that the addiction-like behavior that is seen are only in animals are restricted to having sugar 2 hours every day. Whereas if they are allowed to have it whenever they want it, these behaviors are not readily seen. That means that when you are allowed, or when you allow yourself, but it's very dangerous, and you have to map it out for each individual person. But because we live in such a diet geared mentality, so many of us have been on diets for so long, when we say I can't have, or even the doctor says restrict this, restrict that, it flips on the I gotta have it switch, and it becomes, oh, good Lord, my glasses was tight. Oh, Jesus. Honey, trying to read with these glasses. I didn't realize these glasses was this tight. Lord have mercy. Squeezing the juices out, squeezing the brain juice out. All right, focus, Lacey. I'm almost done. Trying to get done here in the next couple minutes. Lord have mercy. Okay, nutritional value of regular sugar. None. Okay, so unlike sugar, illegal drugs such as cocaine hijacks those systems and turn the normal controls off. That's why I was able to continue to eat all of the sugar without any stop. No stops. They also argue that rats choosing sugar over cocaine in some experiments is not surprising when animals always choose the substance that will give them more energy. And sugar gives us energy temporarily. Temporarily gives us energy. It seems like the glitch is gone now. Now I'm getting ready to be done, and the glitch is gone. The glitch is gone away. Okay, so what is it that we need to do? If you really serious, see, these kind of chats, they don't garner a lot of attention because there are a lot of sugar addicts out there. Now, sugar addiction doesn't have to do necessarily with size, because you can be a very thin sugar addict. The fact of the matter is that if you cannot go a day without sugar, then you have a problem. And put in their comments if you know you have issues with it. If not only are you having something sweet, after you have it, you start to crave something sweet. It is a non-stop craving. Non-stop. Or you're able to stay off of it for a little while. You get a hit. It's just like drugs, and you're running after it again. I have not consumed any regular sugar, any regular white sugar. Now I do have stevia. Stevia is my go-to. Stevia, which is a very wonderful natural sugar substitute that doesn't spike your blood sugar, and it doesn't cause you to crave sugar either. I call it non-triggering food. You need to find the foods that are non-triggering for you to eat. Sugar in the body will cause inflammation. And there's a little saying too that sugar in the brain is this, sugar in a child is ADHD, sugar in your bones is called inflammation. And when you detox from the sugar, it will take, I would say, maybe 2 weeks, at least a good 2 weeks to get through the initial detox. Once you get through the 2 weeks, you won't want it anymore. And the clarity will be back. The inflammation will be very little. you will be so happy and excited that you let the sugar go. We're talking about a lot of added sugar. And we know that there's basically sugar in almost everything that we eat. But when you can control the amount of sugar that you're putting into your body, oh Lord, honey, I gotta get some new temples. I can't take these things. They're cute, honey, but no. So that is that's about the chat that we have, and we know that there's a lot of sicknesses in a lot of communities, and a lot of it is caused by refined white sugar. Now, regular sugar cane sugar isn't the issue. It's when they take it, strip it, and put it through the refining process that it becomes the issue. And if you are a crackhead, meaning addicted to sugar, you can be free. It's going to take some work, but you can. If you can tear yourself away from sugar for 2 weeks, you will be free. I call it a demon because that thing is absolutely a monster to let go of. But what it does in your body is amazing. A lot of different products that you can get, natural products that will help you detox your body. And you're just so much better without it. So that is going to conclude the chat for today. And I just wanted to know if you were a crackhead or not. Because I tell you what, it's awful. It's awful. It's awful with that sugar thing on your back. You can't get enough of it. You consume so much of it. It's madness. It feels madness. It feels like madness too. So I hope this encourages you. You guys, I hope you're able to sit through the glitchiness of the video. I think we had something going on with our internet connection. But yeah, so I hope it helped you. I am done. And he wants us to prosper and be in health, even as our soul prospers. But we have to want to. God isn't going to make you detox from sugar. Raw honey is really good. There's a bunch of wonderful sugar substitute. Natural fruit is the ingredient. You don't have to look at it and wonder if there's a bunch of additives in it. Plus, it has fiber in it, so it's going to take your body longer to break down, and you're not going to get the same results as regular refined sugar. I encourage you to read your labels and see what they're putting in the products. And then that'll give you some indication as to what's going on in your body. Why do you feel so crappy after you eat certain things? Look at what they're putting in there. But hopefully in the next couple of years, all of that is going to change, and we'll get our food system in the United States in a cleaner place, okay? Not only for us, but for our kids too. All of these artificial colors, all of the different chips and the chemicals. It's madness. So we've got to take charge and start to do something different. So anyway, I'm done with my soapbox for tonight. The next time I come back, I'm going to talk about salt. And then after that, we're going to talk about water. Oh my goodness, the different waters that are out there. There's some gross waters on the market that people are buying and drinking. Like, ew. But anyway, we'll talk about that next time in a couple of weeks. So anyway, you guys have a wonderful evening. Read your food labels. I'm going to be back early in the morning with my regular chat at 5 a.m. So you're going to be up anyway. So you might as well get online and learn something. So anyway, I will talk to you guys in the morning. The Lord says the same. And thank you, Miss Sandra, for hanging out. We got a couple more people that are watching. They might not have said nothing, but I hope they got some good information. Okay, I will talk to you guys again in the morning. All right, bye-bye.